All right, and I'm here with Greg Kohler, aka PPC Greg, the Director of Digital Marketing at ServiceMaster. Greg, thank you for jumping on here today. It's a pleasure to have you. This is our first formal interview, I would say, with you, although you've been on some marketing talks before.
Yeah, I
This is the
appreciate it. Thanks
first
for having me.
in-episode interview, but
Yeah,
you're one of the OGs. I wanted to just talk a little bit more about what we've been seeing. I know Higman touched on it last week. I wanted to give it a little more focus this week, where there's spotted that there are RSAs now showing in images and within Google Images. What is your first take thought on that?
it definitely feels like it's like a display network opt-in, and so definitely should be able to directly opt out of it,
What? You can't do that on shopping.
which is an issue, I think. Yeah,
In the past, it's only been shopping ads that
yeah,
would show there, and you had no way of opting out, right? So you would run your shopping campaigns and you would show within image ads, and everybody was very upset because images are not the same as shopping, right? It's like if some, or at least search, right? You search, there's that intent there, and then when it's something like shopping, there could be multiple different uses for something. You know, if somebody's putting together a PowerPoint presentation is looking for a football, it doesn't mean they want to buy the football if they're in Google Images, where typically if you're in Google Shopping or if you're searching Google for football, there's more intent there. So I don't think this is going to be a display opt out at all.
I think it should be. I don't think it will be.
Everything should be.
Well, yeah, everything should be much more controllable. I think really what we're just going to continue to see is the push towards like a conversion-based bidding, and Google's going to be saying, "Hey, we are confident that the person searching this is actually in market for either this product or service, and so you want your ad showing here." I think kind of like blows up the whole idea of like, click-through rate, because you'll get a ton of impressions. And I think Anthony's example, just scrolling through those kinds of impressions, and it's that top of page impressions where you typically see like the best performance. You just can't use that data anymore. And so it's really that conversion based focus.
Yeah. And even if this was something like, I don't think it's going to be a display opt out, right? But even if it was something like a search partner, I know it's not going to be that because it's technically within Google owned and operated and it won't be a search partner. But I could understand that as well to be like, hey, this isn't traditional search, but I doubt that that's going to be the case just because I've seen this story before with shopping where you're on images and you can't get out.
I think you can content exclude YouTube, right? From search partners.
Yeah, but again, I don't think this is going to be a search partners. I think this is going to be part
Yeah.
of just plain search. Like, hey, this is I'm setting up a search campaign, and in your case, I could see your 2 men in a truck shirt on. Maybe somebody is searching for a cardboard box for some internal joke or to Photoshop, and all of a sudden, because they're in images and they're searching for a picture of a box or something, be like, hey, pack your stuff, you're gone, or something like that. Like then all of a sudden you're showing up as an ad there.
Yeah. I think it just comes back to that conversion based focus. And hopefully, in that case, you're only showing because they have seen historical browsing, history and intent. But I don't trust that that will truly be it for a very long time.
I'm not confident in this at all. I don't know. I think you're right though. Like when this does roll out, a lot of things are going to change. I would assume to your point, impressions will go up. I'm assuming clicks will stay the same, maybe slightly up. Click through rate will drop, and then I would also assume that depending on what industry you're in, conversion rate's going to be hit too.
I do wish they would make more of an announcement of like when it goes live. I don't still feel like they've made much of an announcement with the new like formatting of ads and how it's grouping. So people just started seeing it one day, and I think that can have a huge impact on your overall performance. And so, what do we do when our branded impressions increase 20% on a random given day? It's like, why did this happen? Oh, well, it was because we started showing images.
So I also had these crazy thoughts going through my head where first off, like you understand why they want image assets everywhere now, right? Like now you get it. And then so that's obviously thought A. So then thought B is like, can you show on Google Images if you forget to put your image assets in? Like, is that if you're really trying to dial, maybe it's a specific campaign or something in, can you like just not have those image assets and get out of there?
I think dynamic images are a automatically created asset that you can currently opt out of, right? Do they then make those not opt outable?
Mm,
And
you're
so then
always
they say, hey, we're going to pull this from your website and now we're going to show you on images.
you're always 2 steps ahead. Google, they should hire you. I guess we'll have to see when this comes out into fruition. I haven't been able to replicate it at all, but hopefully there is more of an announcement, and stay tuned. We'll let you know, and that could be something definitely to put into your metrics just to measure against pre and post, see how things are going. And then hopefully we can figure out ways around it as well. All right, another thing I want to talk to you about, you do a lot of demand gen, right?
You do a lot of managing, yep.
Okay, so roughly a month ago, Google came out with the optimization ability to use demand gen to optimize towards view through conversions. Any thoughts on that?
I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it from like an awareness standpoint, and obviously they've been pushing how they want it to be platform comparable to your social media and your TikToks and your things like that. I think it makes a lot of sense to try to look at it from a more full funnel approach and then optimize towards that. Whereas today, I think even with like data driven attribution, it's really looking more so at when a demand gen campaign is that last click that then leads into a conversion and trying to optimize for that, which just really narrows down the scope of the audience that it can go after. I think it makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah, and I believe in Coffee Talks in the past at SMX, you've talked about the fact that you do a lot of TV screen stuff. Is that still the case, or are you, when you're
yeah,
on YouTube, are you looking at devices, anything like that?
so yeah, we do a lot of what we just call connected TV, which is run through Google though. I'd say like 90%. We do non-skippable 15-second. 90% of those impressions show on connected TV, or YouTube TV, I should say. Sorry, I don't think video campaigns are part of it today. View through conversion optimization. I think it's just demand gen, but I could be wrong.
But could you make just a YouTube placement only demand gen?
I don't think then it would show primarily on connected TV, which is like ultimately like that's our goal is we we don't necessarily want as much showing on YouTube.com. We do want it to be like more of a competitor to your traditional TV, and so less clickable. But to your point, I think if somebody does see an ad and then later converts, optimize towards that person.
Yeah, and I think just not everybody is like ready to buy, especially I would imagine in the businesses like you serve, right? Like people might be close, they might know something's coming up, they might know they've got this thing lingering, they might need a move in the near future, at least for 2 men in a truck. But keeping that view through, I think, makes a ton of sense. And then making it not just like this is the only option that you have, I think that's great too, because like you could do other things like remarketing with, demand gen or whatever you're looking for. So I think this is cool. Do you guys, is view through conversions, is that something substantial, like a metric that you look at quite a bit?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we'll report on that, but it's pretty difficult when business owners are very leads heavy, and so I think just knowing that this will help optimize really the other campaigns, get more people higher funnel that are more appropriate, or like more so like a lookalike. We'll see the bottom line impact of that for sure.
Boy, is it difficult to explain when people are used to looking at last touch attribution stats and still do in a certain way, where there's only like especially on some lead gen campaigns that Chubb and I have been working on, where it's like we only have one source that's being sent there and it's the last source, and everything that's meta, anything that's top of funnel like this demand gen, just looks like crap. But yeah, so I guess that's the one downside of that. Another question, so with demand gen, they came out, Google did, with the platform comparable metric.
Yeah,
Do you use that metric, or do you look at it? Have you ever looked at that metric?
I've tried to look at it.
What the hell is that, Greg?
I think I think how they tried to explain it is very similar to like Facebook and Meta and TikTok are going to take credit for any conversion, whether it comes through, an end of the day, a brand search, or if, they see an impression on Meta, see an impression on YouTube, and then organically convert. Google wants to remind you, hey, you get a little bit of credit for that, or we're going to take credit for it, just like Facebook is going to take credit for it. I don't know how many conversations people are having of like, yeah, we looked at what the number of leads Meta was reporting, and then we actually looked at like how many actually like agnostically created, and it was just night and day.
I thought that metric might be like, here is your conversions plus like your view through conversions, but you could add those up and it still never gets close to platform comparable. It's like platform comparable. It's like somebody just shot that thing full of roids and it is it's off the charts. It's like it takes credit for everything.
Do they do sampling with that, you think?
I don't know. It's so crazy. I can't look at that number. I just can't look at that metric. If I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, let's put how many dimensions. You look at what dimensions is actually doing. And you're like, even with these view through conversions, it's not as good as anything else. In some cases it's good, everything like that. But like, depends on your goals and everything.
Obviously, they're not as confident in it, I feel like, because you can't optimize towards it. And so you look at what you can optimize a campaign towards in terms of, conversions. And you can't do it to mild conversions. So I think they're just trying to, end of the day, they still want you optimizing towards flat out conversions.
Yeah. So you will use the bidding option to optimize towards view through conversions for demand gen.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
And if you have a ton of campaigns like we do, you can now jump into Ads Editor and bulk enable that across the board. Whereas, like we talked about, automatically created assets, you have to go into each individual account and unselect all of them and provide a reason why. This is luckily a bulk change, which I think they just rolled out in the past couple of days.
So are you going to bulk change all your campaigns? Like, what do you think? Or is it some that's like more prospecting that you're looking at? Like what I would just let people know, like, go towards your goals, right?
Go towards your goals. We'll have to see.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Greg. And I know you are speaking at SMX next this week here. What are you talking about? Let's give a quick plug.
Yeah, later this week, Thursday morning, 10 a.m., I believe, on a coffee talk with Adu and Susan. We're talking about PPC mistakes that we've made. And so we've got a couple that will prompt the conversation, but definitely, would love to have other people bring in the mistakes that they've made, whether it's financially, in terms of like your setups, things like that. It'll be a good commiseration session and really show you that, hey, you're not alone when you accidentally, fat finger an extra zero into your daily budget.
So I got to click twice. Okay. And it's PPC Greg or Greg Kohler pretty much anywhere. Anything else you want to plug, Greg?
No, you got it.
All right. And this is the end of your episode of Two Gregs on a Pod. And anytime you want to jump on back, Greg, you are more than welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for swinging by.
Yep. Talk to you later.